We're back again with another episode of Not So Local Legends. It's like 4 a.m. and we're finished.
Oh, it feels like 4 a.m. because you're bored?
Yeah.
Is that it? Man, this feels like 4 a.m.
Everybody knows who I'm sat with, but just in case you're into AI or living on planet Zonk, let's go from the top. Tell us a little bit about you, your name, your age, if you want to, and how long you've been playing drums.
I am 45. My name is Benny Greb. I'm a drummer, originally from Germany, and musician and author. And author always sounds so learned.
That's nice.
Father. Educated. Father, human being, husband, since a year. I'm married since a year.
Yeah,
so, nice. All these things. How I get it all together, I don't know.
Why drums? You mentioned you played trumpet and piano. How did you end up sticking with drums? So why drums?
Although I did play trumpet and piano, and I also don't tell anyone to play the bass a little bit.
Oh, no. We'll have to edit that out. We're not having that. Yeah. We're not having that.
I'm not proud of it, but I just want to be honest about it, okay? I want to be open.
Put it out there.
I promise to be open.
Yeah.
No, but I dabble in all of these things. That's all fine. But drums were always seemed from the very beginning, since I can think, like the coolest instrument. And I was always like, oh, that's the thing. The other thing is very interesting and beautiful too. I wish I would be even better with piano and be able to improvise better. Very limited there, but it's enough to write songs and find chords and stuff. But drumming was always had a special place in my heart, and that's just how it is. I think it's great.
Yeah,
so it's
cool.
And it's still something that fascinates me and captivates me, and is a great teacher to me. I learn a lot about me and even the world. Sometimes it sounds a little bit hippie-ish, but it's really, you can take a lot of things about struggle and persistence and insecurities and balance and all of these things. Like you can really see them everywhere if you can attack them in this microcosm there. It's basically pretty universal stuff, and I like this microcosm there. I'm comfortable with confronting the demons there first, and then maybe in other fields too.
Tell us a bit about your drumming journey leading up to your current drum activity. So I know we've had a little bit about it,
right?
But let's have it.
Yeah.
So you started drums when you were 6?
Yeah.
6.
Then with 12, I got some lessons. Until then, I was playing to whatever I heard on the radio, or my brother had a great CD collection of stuff, very unusual stuff for a German guy in the 80s. He listened to a lot of like funk stuff and disco stuff actually, and my dad listened to a lot of like singer-songwriter stuff from England and the US, and I found a lot of great stuff there to play along to and be inspired by, and and then when I studied music, I got more into like jazz and fusion stuff. Like back then I was crazy, and still am, about like guys like Dave Weckl and Vinny Colaiuta, and like, you know, the great drummers of there were so many great drummers at the 80s, like floating around. You still had kind of the OGs, like the Elvin Joneses and the Tony Williams influence, like, and all that kind of stuff. And actually still like Buddy Rich and people like that, like stuff floating around. And then you had these new young wild guys like Colaiuta and Chambers and Simon Phillips. All these kind of guys. So that influenced me a lot.
Okay.
And and then when I moved to Hamburg, it was really about like, okay, like what is it like to be a gigging drummer, and how to survive in a music scene, a studio scene. And that was interesting. And well, I'm still in that process basically of then balancing the sideman stuff, which I do less and less of, because I have the privilege of doing my own stuff where I write for my own group and I tour with that group, and that's the most fun right now.
And when was your first paid gig? How old are you? And what were you doing?
It's a good question. Maybe that was actually when I was around 15 or something like that,
Yeah.
like with a cover band, like a local
Yeah,
cover band,
yeah.
something like that. Actually, my my first job that I got in Hamburg was I was in Hamburg. I tried to network and maybe go to sessions and stuff. And then someone called me up and like in a dream, like I thought that's how it's supposed to be. It was like, hey, we heard you're new in town and we heard about you and I have this job like for a soundtrack. And I'm like, that's amazing. They say like, don't forget to bring your harp. I'm like, what? Yeah, we heard you play blues harp. And I'm like, oh no. Like there was this session where and I practiced that for a while and really liked it and stuff. I was into the Blues Brothers a lot and like Johnny Lee Hooker and shit like that. So I was like, oh no. So kind of word got around. And then my first recording session that I had in Hamburg was playing blues harp on a soundtrack for a TV series.
Not drums.
Not drums. That's very embarrassing in a way.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
think I ever told that story before. This is an exclusive here.
Thank you. Very personal. Thank you.
Yeah, so let's please cut that out. This is horrible.
From 15, how did you eventually build Benny Greb and get your break?
Still in the process. I mean, the thing was pretty much that I loved this. I had a couple of hobbies, but this was one of the things I did most often, and my mom was very attentive to that, and maybe also worried in regards of like, what should we do with this kid that is just in the basement and figuring out this instrument, and looking for schools that maybe offered like some studying with that or how to maybe do that as a job. And back then there was only the choice, either you do the classical stuff, which is timpani, mallets, and all that kind of stuff, which I respect very much, but wasn't into. Like when someone told me like drumming and percussion, I was like, to hit this thing. So there was one school that was the first in Germany, or one of the first, I think it was the first, that actually did rock pop jazz. You were able to study rock pop jazz, and as a job thing. And I did the audition there, not thinking they would take me. It was more like a test, and then they actually, I think we had to do a special thing to be allowed to do it before I was 18. So I got this special thing that I was already taken. So I was the youngest there a little bit. Also felt like it was very exciting, but it was great because all of a sudden I was among. Everyone was as weird as me. Everyone was as crazy as me, and I loved it. Because before I was in school, always like the nerdy kid that was into music that no one else was into, and I thought like, okay, it's gonna be my fate now to be the weird outsider. And all of a sudden, everyone was like that, and it was a dream. As for me, it was amazing to find out like, oh, you know what, you can search the place you belong, basically, through also through also this kind of like, when you decide for a job and something, like there will be some more suitable things almost like happening to you, and that's great. And then there was this one course that was also offered by the guy who did the school, named Udo Dahmen, great teacher. And he did a like almost like a networking kind of university rock pop course in Hamburg, and that was only like for I think a couple of weeks or a couple of months or something like that. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna do that in Hamburg, and then a band formed. We got a producer deal immediately, and I was like, oh, things are happening here. The band didn't succeed like it was planned, but that was maybe a blessing in disguise, because I then like moved to Hamburg and then had to kind of orientate myself and got other gigs and other jobs and like and doing something that I actually really wanted to do back then. Because one of my favorites is like guys like Steve Gadd and people that played many kinds of music, many styles of music, and so I loved that. That was also something I always respected and liked, and to do maybe a big band gig the one day, soundtrack recording the next, and then play with the band or fill in for a punk band in a studio because the drummer maybe is too drunk or whatever. That's where I also saw myself. I didn't know that would kind of get less and go away in the following years, but it was still something that I then got a taste of for a short time.
So from 20 to 45, the journey is mental. What are some points in there that you go, 22, I did this. 25, I did this. Oh, I remember that I wrote this.
Yeah.
My first drum camp. Give me some.
Yeah, I first have to say, I'll give that to you, and I
Yes.
understand the sentiment.
Yeah.
I have to say, though, that that's usually something that we want to do with our lives, but it very much felt to me like a very steady, kind of very like, it didn't feel to me like, oh, there is something, and then that's very important or something. Like, it's really all these very small incremental steps, and that's sometimes what also feels so hideous about it, maybe, or so maybe can drain your motivation sometimes. And for everyone who experiences it, I can just say, at least just in my experience, like, that's normal. That's how it goes. You never know what kind of it's gonna be a big thing or like be important to your career. I always kind of focused on what I wanted to do and what kind of would be the next step of hopefully improving whatever the situation was. I think of one very unpublic step that was very important for me, though, and I think for the next years, was that after a couple of years in Hamburg, I played in this band, and it was very lucrative, and it's the first time in my life that I actually got a little bit of money together, where I was like, oh, I don't have to pay, I don't have to worry about paying rent and stuff like that. Before, it was sometimes tough. And but I got a little bit too comfortable, and I played like cover gigs and stuff, and then I played cover gigs in hotels and jazz in hotels and stuff. And then I called up this bass player guy and said, never ever call me for cover gigs ever again. And he's like, what's wrong with you? Are you crazy? I was like, if you do a project with your own original music, and I would love to do it. Doesn't matter, even if you don't have any money. But I only want to work like with original stuff. I don't want to do this cover thing anymore. He was like, you're out of your mind. And that was a tough time financially then after that. But it was a decision I had to take, and a very important one for me, to get out of this. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, so I don't want to say like cover bands are bad or anything. But for me, it wasn't the right thing. And especially in Germany, maybe that's a stereotype, but I also was in the danger of trying to do things right, right? I learned this, or I'm in this position, or I'm in this role, and I do it the best I can, which is great, of course, and I still try that, and it's a noble thing to do. But it's not okay if you then sacrifice for that. So I want to do this right, and you forget about doing the right thing. And that these are two very separate things, right? You can do the wrong thing very well. And you can also do something super well that doesn't matter at all, or will not get you any further. And you can also, like what I then did, do the right thing but be not good at it at all, and struggle. And that's what I then did the next couple of years. I had a band there that we really fought like lions, like to get across somehow. It just didn't work, but it felt like the right thing to do. So that was important. The other thing that was important was in 2005, parallel, I was interested in my instrument, and I just practiced my butt off, actually, and really tried to find out stuff that I never knew whether I could use it in any project or anything, but I just it felt like the right thing. And so I got more and more like into also doing clinic stuff and stuff, and then got a deal with Meinl and Sono, which I respected before I had the deal, and had some gear actually, and that was a blessing. And then I was sent to the Montreal Drum Festival back then, which was one of the maybe top 2 or 3 drum festivals ever. Like, there was the Modern Drummer, there was the Montreal Drum Festival, maybe the Ultimate Drummers Weekend in Australia. And then I played these festivals when I was 25,
Amazing.
being super nervous about it
Yeah.
and playing with all these heavy cats. But this was important because then someone stole the video that I put on my website and uploaded it on a website I never heard of, which was called YouTube back then. It was a new thing. And that was actually then a catalyst a little bit for people, for things selling out when I went to countries I've never been before, where people are like, oh, you're that guy from that video.
Yeah.
So before anyone knew what going viral really meant. So this was really something that helped me in the clinic stuff. And then the language of drumming, I like Hudson came to me and said like, hey, do you have any exercises you would like to share and stuff? And I did. I had because I wrote these practice journals for back then already, like almost 10 years. And got a couple of systems together that worked for me. Yeah, we gotta say, to be fair, like we're also doing this interview. It's past midnight
midnight,
after the clinic,
Yeah.
and I'm completely fried. So I'm trying to do my best here to stay stay on point.
It's all good, honestly.
But yeah, I think my first solo album, of course, was important. The brass band album was important. I mean, always the next project is the most important.
Okay.
And I mean, when we talk about job-wise and business-wise, and apart from that, it's important to keep balance, because also privately, to see that you're mentally in a good state and have power enough to keep doing it, and that I feel that I'm doing my job as a dad. I mean, job is a horrible, but you know what I mean, right? Yeah. That I'm a good dad, hopefully, and that I do my best there, and that I'm present and available, and so, yeah. And this is, and if it goes on like that, and I constantly, because balance is a constant thing. It's never like, oh, I'm doing this, and then it's like you constantly have to, like when you're really balanced, you constantly have to kind of adjust but yeah, I will continue to do this, and then maybe in hindsight say like, oh, that was a very important decision, or that was stupid, or that's how it goes.
There's a saying, Benny, trust the process.
Yeah.
And I think it's quite clear that with your journey, there's been quite a bit of trust the process, and the law of attraction is working, and you'll get there as a journey. And as you say, it didn't happen from, I'm 25, now I'm famous. You're 45 and you're still going bit by bit, you're still going.
And the thing with the famous is, I mean, it's also,
Benny, you're famous, it's simple as that. Dude, honestly, to me, in the drumming world, you're Tom Cruise. You've got to take it, honestly. Am I right?
The
in the drumming, you are Tom Cruise.
Yeah, when it comes to clinics, I do the stunts myself. That's true. That's the truth. But that's the only thing. Yeah.
Favorite band, favorite drummer, and why?
Ooh, that's always tough. I mean, of course, the Beatles are awesome. The Police, I love the Police so much. I love Sting so much. But there are a lot of British. Phil Collins is awesome. I think I have a British pop phase now, where I like all the Phil Collins, Sting, Peter Gabriel. I listen to re-listen to a lot of these albums that I loved for so many years, and my gosh, it's so good. It's just great, great pop music.
Choose one.
No. You can't make me. But as a favorite drummer, I have to say Steve Gadd. What comes to mind is, of course, Steve Smith, who's I'm proud to say is a friend of mine now, but still my hero.
Yeah.
Of course, Kola Yuda is a monster and incredibly inspiring. But one of the most exciting and rewarding things about my journey is that I now sometimes am colleagues or communicating or even like friends with my heroes, and it's one of the most exciting things. When I did the Buddy Rich thing, and I knew that that Weckel did it the year before, like I asked him and said like, man, how was it? Like, do you have any blah blah and chat a little bit, and then to get some advice from these cats is just, I mean, priceless. I would have never dreamed of that, and to their credit also, it's just amazing how sweet and open and warm they then are, and it's so, because they don't have to be, of course, and it's amazing. So I'm still absolutely in love with my heroes there, and so proud of them. You know, it's like
That's awesome.
when you have this feeling that you bet on the right horse.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
Like when you're like, oh man, and they are awesome, and they're actually even cool and nice, and so that's awesome.
If you could play drums for any band or artist, who would it be?
For myself, for like I would.
Okay, apart from yourself, then you have to choose one.
Okay, if it's really about like, hey, jump in.
Yeah.
I would love to play with Sting. Just like, I mean, it's.
Oh, we would love to see it.
Oh man,
Oh
I would
my
love
God.
that so much.
So Sting and the Foo Fighters, everyone we interview, it's those two.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Sting is my hero.
Yeah.
Vinny's my hero.
Yeah.
Sting for me, oh my God. I couldn't do it because I cry. But to see
cry
you
too.
play, to see you playing with Sting,
Oh, man.
oh Benny, oh my God,
Oh,
amazing.
tell him. Like,
Yeah.
tell him I'm
Okay.
available.
I'll ring him now.
I'll-
I'll ring him. I'll give him a bell. Tell us about the gear you use. Let's have a shout out for everyone.
This almost feels like this is a podcast from a drum store or something.
No.
I'm very fortunate to be with the companies that I am now for a long, long time. I've been with Sonar now for, I think, more than 20 years actually, or 20 years. So I play Sonar drums.
Yeah.
I love Sonar drums. I play the Vintage series right now. It's not the most expensive series that they do actually, but it's my favorite at the moment. It's well, at the moment I played since almost 7 years, I think, since it came out. I like the beechwood. I like the round bearing edges. It makes it a little bit warmer sounding even. I like the shells that they do, the undersized shells that they do. They're easier to tune. And I just love the sound. It really became part of what drums should sound like for me, really. When I sit down, and I just love what comes back from it and how dynamic they are, and it just feels great.
Yeah.
I have these now, very fortunate, these two signature snares with them. I'm very proud of those. These are absolute workhorses. Every studio I've been to, they always want to keep them. There was a beach version out with two internal dampeners that I designed, called the monorail dampeners. And you can very quickly get to different tunings and to different settings, and also reliable get back to them, which makes them very, very practical and just quick workhorses. And there's a beach version and there's a brass version, and they're both amazing. And I really love those. Vic Firth sticks. I play my signature sticks. Super proud of them because they have a great sound. Sometimes we don't think about sound when we think about sticks, but it's an important part of your sound. And for rim clicks and just like the response they have, like on the cymbals, they sound really sweet and nice. They have a nice rebound feel, but have a good sound as well. Remo heads, super important. I think a very underrated part of any drum sound, really. Like, you get good heads, get the proper heads, experiment with it. It's so important for any drum brand. But I like the Remo heads. I play Emperor on top of the toms, Ambassador coated on bottom, Ambassador coated on top of the snares, and always a Power Stroke 3 on the bass drum. Love those. Meinl cymbals.
Of course.
I love Meinl cymbals. I've been with Meinl cymbals forever, and I have quite an extensive range now of these signature cymbals that I was allowed to design with them. The first was the ride, and then we had a hi-hat to that, and then added some crashes to that, so that it's really a nice, very well-matched kind of set that really has a wide range, but has a certain, well, not only place in my heart, but I think also in the market actually, where they're not harsh, they're not like too loud, but they're very sensitive. They're very warm sounding.
cases?
Yeah, absolutely. Drum cases. Hard case. I used
Yay.
hard case in many years.
David Hardcase.
Oh yeah,
is a
David.
king.
Yeah, absolutely. And
yeah.
I like these. I don't know how they call it. These stone gray or these gray.
Yeah, granite.
Ones. Granite.
Yeah,
They call it.
yeah,
Yes. Yes. So these are my cases. Usually they made them with my name on it. I love it. Yeah.
We're going to post a clip of you playing, or clips. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, nothing specific. I think it should speak for itself.
Absolutely
Please,
brilliant.
just check out the clip and enjoy.
Yeah. And just before we wrap up, you are so philosophical. You are so logical. You have such a lovely, lovely, warm energy. And I could literally talk to you all day. I could meet you in a pub and just listen to you, talk to you, learn from you.
Let's go to the pub then.
They're not happy.
There's some sympathy going on here.
I'm actually reading a book at the moment by an author called Ryan Holiday.
Yeah.
And okay.
What is it? Obstacle is the key?
That's the next one. Stillness I'm on.
Stillness.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Great.
And there's
Many
some
books.
huge
The
quotes
Daily
in there.
Stoic is incredible. And one of the best books ever. I have the.
Oh
I have
my
the-
God.
I have it on my desk. I read it every day. I
Dude.
read it every morning.
I read this book every day.
Yes, see.
And every day I come
Do you
in
have
and
the
discuss it
leather
with
bound? Do you have the leather bound?
Sam. No. And
You
the
have to
reason
get
for
the
that.
leather bound.
Okay.
Yes.
I will get it
come
tonight.
on.
I will get it
You
tonight.
can do it.
Okay. So I was going to say, you're so philosophical, you're so logical. You remind me
try.
of the books that I am reading.
Great.
And I'm so drawn to that kind of energy. Hence, I could sit with you all day and just listen or learn or talk and
I appreciate it.
pick stuff from you. So I can go, okay, I need to think about this. Thank you
Big
for...
pleasure.
I don't want to use the word inspiring. It's a word that we use too frequently because, oh, you inspired me. I want to say I'm enlightened.
Oh,
And thank you so much
thank you
for
very much.
coming to my shop, for hanging early hours, chatting. And you are not local to us. But me, Benny, you are a legend, man. You are a legend. Thank you so
very
much.
You're very kind.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Tom Cruise of the drumming world.